Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. And let me just say a few words. Your Excellency, the President, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Your Excellency, the President, Mr. John Dramani Mahama. Your Excellency, Mr. Peebles, Commissioner of Development, European Union. Your Excellencies, the Ministers, Ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, you're most welcome. On behalf of President Donald Kaberuka of the African Development Bank Group, it is my singular honor to welcome you to this important discussion. When President Kaberuka decided to establish the high-level panel on fragile states, he said that despite the fact that we, as a bank, and our partners have been working to address conflict and fragility for more than a decade now, we still seem not to have got it right. There is still so much that we do not know. Therefore, the panel was mandated to provide expert guidance on targeted assistance beyond financial support to accelerate state building and peace building, provide recommendations, actions, policies, and strategies that should be pursued by the bank and global partners alike in order to further improve its development effectiveness in situations of fragility. Under the guidance and leadership of Her Excellency Madam President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the 7 eminent members of the panel deliberated for over a year. The panel held country dialogues and consultations, discussed with members of the civil society, private sector, as well as development partners. The report, which was on your seats, both in English and in French, outlines key recommendations not only for the African Development Bank, but also the countries affected by fragility and conflict, as well as development partners. At this point, I'm happy to report that we at the African Development Bank have already adopted the recommendations of this report and have re-emphasized our commitment to address situations of fragility and conflict in Africa. Without further ado, I would like to welcome and request Her Excellency Madam President to provide the key opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunita. Let me join her in welcoming all of you who have come to be a part of this, what I like to call an interactive session. We'll be making few comments, but we'll be looking to you for some of your ideas, some of your responses. A particular welcome to President Mahama. Thank you for coming to be with us. And of course, the Commissioner Peebles, who has worked with us before on these matters. I was privileged, as mentioned by Sunita, to have been designated by President Kaberuka to work with a truly great panel. A couple of them are here, the rest of them, and their names can be found in the report. And our mandate was to determine the approaches which would build upon the ADB's record of response to fragility. Fragility experienced by states when internal or external pressures become too great for national institution and political processes to manage, thereby creating a risk of violence. Needless to say, the most vulnerable of such states are post-conflict countries, like my own, Liberia, which lack robust functioning institutions, that lack diversified economies, many times lack inclusive political systems. to be able to manage those risks. The work of the panel, very consultative in its nature, by engaging civil society, academia, government, private sector, to get all of their views on how we respond to the vulnerabilities of states, thereby seeing them experience fragility. It culminated in this good report. I think it's a great report. I hope everyone would have a chance to read it. Ending conflict and building peace in Africa. More importantly, a call to action. The panel members are here. They wrote it. They experienced the views of many of our African colleagues and partnership institutions. I produce it, and they will be talking to you about the details of that. It's important that all of our friends and supporters, all of those who have invested so much in African development, join in the call of this report for adequate policy responses to disruptive social, economic, and environmental changes by building resilience in our states and in our societies. We need stronger links of institutions and partnership among the private sector, among civil society, all of the institutions that are part of this collective political arena involved in managing the processes of development. That's how we get sustainable peace, sustainable development. Regionalism is very important in this regard, and the African Development Bank has singled out a few countries in this respect. I know my own region, the Mano River Union countries, comprising Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, and La Côte d'Ivoire, have been singled out because we were all involved in a conflict that crossed borders. We all have these strong vulnerabilities because of large numbers of unemployed youth, because in some cases, not all of them, lack of a diversified economy, depending upon one monocrop, dysfunctional institutions. And so the African Development Bank has been trying to make sure that we respond in such a way to expand the interconnectivity, the interaction, the linkages between our institutions as a means of ensuring that stability in one would in effect be stability for all, and economic empowerment in one would spill over the borders and be economic empowerment for all. The report also endorses, importantly, the principles of the New Deal for the empowerment of fragile states. And the New Deal, as you know, calls for stronger ownership, something very consistent with Africa's own priorities. Whether we look at long-term perspective, Africa 2063, or we look at the common position in the post-2015 agenda, ownership is said to be a key. Africa must take charge of its own destiny, must be the one that determines its priorities and its future. It calls for harmonization, calls for mutual accountability. And so the New Deal, as you know, is co-chaired by Timolis. The champion in that has been the Minister of Finance. She's been a real champion on the New Deal, and is co-chaired by Finland. And we're now trying to get, I know Liberia is trying to get the support of Sweden and the US to get our own program advocating the New Deal going. And so we have G+7, so many countries that are, many of them are post-conflict countries that exhibit intense levels of fragility. And so, but that New Deal cuts across just post-conflict countries. in effect, is calling for taking charge, so to speak. Africa taking charge, and that's very, very much a common tone throughout all of our countries, individually and collectively. And so this report, I like this report. Like I say, I like its content, I like its coverage. And I like the fact that if you're English speaking or French speaking, you don't have to have two reports.
Let's flip it.
Yeah, you just flip it. And if you're really good at it, you can even practice. If you're very low in French like me, you can use that as a practice means of trying to improve your own language skills. And so let me say once again, thank you all for being here. We're all looking forward to just a great session of sharing ideas, experiences, and guidance on the way future to ensure that we get the stability and the sustainability in all of our countries. Thank you, Sunita.